Approximately 12:47 p.m, we received an email from lawyers representing Darleen Tana notifying us that they had lodged proceedings in the High Court seeking judicial review of the Green Party, myself and the Honourable Marama Davidson as co-leaders and co-header our Governing Council. Yesterday evening at approximately 5:25 p.m, we received further notice that an application for an interim injunction had been filed at the Auckland High Court seeking an order that the planned special general meeting this Sunday not to go ahead. At approximately midday today, we received further notice that a hearing has been set down on that interim injunction at 10 a.m. tomorrow in the Auckland High Court. Over the last 24 hours, as you would expect, we have been working through our legal options and we continue to do so. I am confident that throughout this process we have continued to centre our green kaupapa. As these proceedings are currently before the court, I will not be able to make any further comments specifically about this case at this time. I am happy to take your questions, but please note that unfortunately my answers will be constrained by those present legal proceedings.
What's your understanding?
It is what it is.
What's your understanding of the legality around an injunction around a special general meeting? Is it state court jurisdiction? No legality around when you can meet?
Good question, Jason. And again, I'd say that on the specifics of this case and the proceedings that are occurring tomorrow morning, we are being careful about the statements that we are making publicly. We have continued to follow process as best as we possibly can to centre our Green Party kaupapa, and again, we are focused on getting to the appropriate outcome here. Sorry, Jason?
You can't say right now if you actually still plan to meet on Sunday?
What I can say is that in the next kind of 24 hours, especially subsequent to that court hearing tomorrow morning, we will have more to share with all of you. And I want to be really clear that we have done absolutely everything that we can here to ensure that we can be fully transparent with you and share all of the information in due course. Right now, a lot of that information is subject to confidentiality and legal advice.
Can I just confirm right now that the special meeting has not been cancelled?
At this point in time, no.
What kind of implications could this have for democracy if the court decides that you can't hold a meeting of your own political party?
Look, again, we're in a situation where we're working through what the judiciary might come up with. But again, I think it's pretty clear to anybody who has followed the developments over the last few months that we've continued to put our values front and centre, which has included integrity and transparency. Yeah. And I don't think that it's helpful for me presently to speculate prior to what occurs tomorrow morning.
Other than the letter that Darleen sent you last week, have you got any indication that Darleen's
No.
Have you had any further correspondence from her, or there been any interaction beyond the lawyer's correspondence you detailed here and since that letter from last week?
None that I am aware of, no.
So the letter then, still business as usual for the Green Party on Sunday with your hui?
As we said at the time that we outlined the process for the special general meeting, and when we received, and at the receipt of that letter, all of that would be considered by all of our party membership, and that letter has gone out to all of our party membership who have access to it, and is being deliberated upon. I think it's pretty clear to anyone who's been watching the developments over the last few months. What we continue to be focused on is doing everything that we can to put focus back on the issues that actually matter to people, which is people and planet. No one person is bigger than this kaupapa. I think that you'll find that many who have provided commentary in the public sphere have agreed with that statement.
Is it too late?
So our lawyer is operating on a pro bono basis.
Why?
I'm assuming that this is a pretty interesting case.
So they're doing it because they're interested in it?
I haven't got into the details of the motivations behind that. This has been dealt with. Well, I mean, Jason, you may then want to get involved in a very niche and interesting part of the law.
Have you been looking at the previous case that went to the Supreme Court of Donna? Is that something that has been you've been looking at through this and may influence this case?
Yeah, sure, of course. I mean, that's the way that precedent works, right? But I think that we sometimes lose sight of the trees when we've been discussing this issue. What we are talking about is somebody who currently occupies a seat in our parliament that was earned by the 330,000 New Zealanders who voted for the Green Party at this most recent election. Those New Zealanders voted for our principles and our values and our policies, and we very strongly are of the view, and our caucus has taken the unprecedented stance of requesting unanimously the resignation of Darleen Tana on the basis that they have completely demonstrated an undermining of those very values and principles.
But that 2003 precedent must fill you with slight confidence in this.
Yeah, but again, we've currently got this case before the courts and we'll work through the process.
Given that she's trying to fight this,
Let's talk about the real victims here, those workers that are identified in the executive summary that we've also worked really hard to provide to the public so that they can make their own judgments.
you think that she should go before the end as well?
Look, let's be crystal clear here. The best way to minimise all further harm and any further collateral damage is for Darleen Tana to take accountability and responsibility and to resign. That's the same position that we have held for more than a month now.
This question, are you alarmed that this is a court kind of telling political party, members of political parties they don't have the...
We don't know that yet. We don't know that yet, so we'll wait and see as to what occurs through those legal proceedings.
Given that you haven't yet cancelled the event or postponed it, given that your lawyer's working for free, I mean, that's a pretty strong indication to us that this is a cut and dry case from your perspective. You don't see much merit in what she's accusing you of, or this injunction. Is that a fair characterization?
I don't think it would be helpful for me to offer speculation to that effect, but we will have more to say tomorrow after those proceedings.
Put it another way, is this keeping you awake at night?
No.
We
Yes, and as I understand it, having had communication with our party co-conveners, there should have been some form of correspondence going out to our party membership over the last half hour or so. Look, again, let's not put the cart before the horse, but you know, I've been pretty straight up about the fact that our membership has been incredibly frustrated by the way that things have played out here, and definitely the sentiment that I am hearing is that yes, there is a very strong sense that people would like some accountability and responsibility taken. Jason?
Being tested, or do you see this as the last dash effort of somebody that's desperately trying to keep their job?
I'd leave that to the commentariat.
were you surprised by kind of this novel approach of trying to inject you from getting a meeting?
I mean, guys, you've been following this. It is what it is. This is very much in line with the kinds of actions that we've seen over the last few weeks and months. So we're dealing with what we've got now right in front of us, and we have control over our actions, and our actions will continue to be led and centred around our Green Party values.
Will you attend the
Any
hearing?
sense of Darleen Tana's motivation?
I mean, your guess is as good as mine.
Will you attend the hearing tomorrow?
Sorry?
Will you attend the hearing tomorrow?
I personally will not be at the hearing, but our legal representative will be. I will be in Ruapehu meeting with affected workers with the proposed closure of the mill.
The parties had a chance to speak with Darleen. Yeah, I know that there were multiple attempts to reach out to her, which she did not.
No one within our party leadership or within our caucus, but that, you know, we have thousands of members all across the country.
Do you know who's advising her?
I've got absolutely no idea.
What would be your message to said advisor?
I think it just remains the same that we've been saying time and again, which is that, you know, Darleen has an opportunity here to curtail any further harm, any further collateral damage, to take accountability, to take responsibility, and to step down. That will allow all of us to put our focus back on the things that we all say that we care about, which is people and planet.
There is a sort of a group of people around Elizabeth Kitty who are sort of behind the scenes here and cooperating to kind of, you know, whiten out you and what's next.
I'm not that keen to speculate on that.
Could your party, though, have been more transparent about this? Obviously, this all came to light through a stuff investigation. Could it have been, you know, before we took the helm, could it have been more transparent about this with the public?
Look, I'm confident that time and again, myself as co-leader alongside Marama and James and Marama did the best that they could with the information available to them and with values forefront of mind.
But do you think perhaps if people had been more transparent that you may not be in this situation?
Look, I think that hindsight is 2020, but again, we're dealing with the situation that we've got. We are human beings that are consistently trying to do our best by our values and by the people that are involved in our party and by the general public that we're elected to represent.
Were you anticipating a legal challenge, or did this come as a surprise?
Look, I've never found it particularly helpful over the last few months to speculate on what might potentially be coming next, and all we've done is put every step in front of each other with our values at the forefront of mind.
But did you at any point feel like, based on the things she was saying, this might have been?
Could have been, but again, what does that speculation give? There's no benefit to me. Yeah, thinking about it. Sorry? Yeah, but prepare for what precisely? I think, as we've all just found, this is a pretty novel situation.
Do you think
Sorry, it's a little bit political part again. Would you call on the architect of the law to make any intervention should the court rule that you can't have your meeting?
I don't think it's useful for me to speculate on that. Look, we are in an unprecedented situation, as I think all of us have canvassed many, many times over the last few months, where we're in a situation where the Green Party, for the first time ever, has said that we have a Member of Parliament who came on our list that we believe is not fit to be a Member of Parliament, and that was unanimously recommended by our caucus for them to resign. We now have to grapple with the logical consequences of that. We obviously have a piece of law that can operationalise that in the so-called party hopping legislation, and obviously we've also outlined that we have a vexed history with that legislation, and that really boils down to two key points. The first is concern historically about how that could potentially be used to remove somebody from Parliament who is stepping out on a matter of principle. To anybody who reads this executive summary, I think we're seeing quite the opposite in somebody abandoning their principles. And secondly, the potential for concentration of power in political party leaders' hands. Here, again, we're operating entirely differently from that by going out to our entire party membership to select approximately 200 delegates to vote at that SGM.
But trying to, right? And if you're stopped from doing it, that feels like it's trampling on democracy.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll offer further reflections if that does turn out to be the case. But yeah, I think at this point in time we're putting one foot in front of the other. Cool. Thanks so much, guys.